Hi guys, so today we are going to do another interesting word problem on ratio. Let's start with reading the question first. At a football stadium, the ratio of the number of adults to the number of girls is 10 is to 1. The ratio of the number of adults to the number of boys is 5 is to 2. There are 250 adults at the stadium. How many people are there at the stadium? So what we have here is there is a football stadium, maybe some match is going on, and there are lots of spectators, right? So the three categories are adults, girls, and boys, right? So these are the three category of people there. In the first case, right, what we have is the ratio of the number of adults to the number of girls is 10 is to 1, right? So adults maybe includes both men and women. So the adults is to girls is 10 is to 1. So let's write this information quickly. So let's say this is our first case, right? Like, what's our first case? In our first case, we have adults and the girls, right? So what adults and the girls, right? So what's the ratio? The ratio is 10 is to 1. That means adults is 10 units and girls 1 unit, right? Now, how about the second part? The ratio of the number of adults to the number of boys is 5 is to 2, right? So for the second case, right? For the second case, they are comparing the number of adults and the number of boys, right? The ratio of adults and the boys, right? So we can say adult here is 5 units and boys are only 2 units. Okay, now as you all know that the number of adults in the football stadium should be fixed, right? So it's same. So if here, that means it's, since it's fixed, right, it's not that it's varying according to the girls and the boys, right? Here the ratio varies, right? Means if we just count the number of girls and the number of adults, the ratio is 10 is to 1, right? But when we count the number of adults and the number of boys, the ratio is 5 is to 2. But actually the number of adults is fixed, right? So that means we can make the number of units of adults in both the cases, in these two cases, same, right? Since the number of adults is fixed, we should also make the number of units of adults in both the cases same. So in the first case, the number of adults is 10 units, right? So we should make the number of adults uh, uh, in the second case also equals to 10 unit. We can make it 5 here as well, but the thing is, then we can divide it by 2 and we can get 5. But if we divide, but we have to divide the number of units of girls as well, right? But then that will give you in decimal, and we don't want to deal with decimals here, right? So what we can do, simply, what the easier way would be to make the 5 units of adults to 10 units, because that will simply require us to multiply it by 10, right? So this will give you 10 unit, but make sure you also multiply the number of units of boys also by 2, and you will get 4 unit. Why did we multiply the number of units of boys as well? So that the ratio remains the same. Ratio should not change, right? See, if I don't multiply it here, right, if the number of adults are 10 and the number of boys, the number of units of boys is 2, the ratio will change. It will become, see, if it's 10 is to 2, the ratio will become actually 5 is to 1. But we have to keep the ratio same. We should not change the ratio of the adults and the boys, right? So we have to multiply whatever operation, multiplication or division we are doing with the units of adults, we should do the same for the boys, right? So what do we get from here? Right, so from the first case, we got that, okay, the adults are 10 unit and the girls are 1 unit. And from the second case, again, adults are 10 and the boys are 4 units. So in short, we can say that, okay, my adults are 10 units, girls are 1 unit, and boys are actually 4 unit. So now we can clearly see the how many number of units of adults, girls and boys are there, right? Now let's read further. There are 250 adults at the stadium. So we have to find how many people are there at the stadium. So see, we actually know what's the actual number of adults in the stadium, and we also know the number of units of adults is 10 unit. So that means straight away we can say that this 10 unit is equal to 250, right? So that means 1 unit is equal to 250 divided by 10, right? And that will give us 25, right? So 1 unit is 25. Now we have to find out how many people are there at the stadium, right? How many people? So the people includes everything. People includes everybody, adult, girls and boys, right? So the total number of people, right? So the total people will be equal to how much? How many, right? So it's 10 units for adults, 1 unit for girls and 4 units for boys, right? So the total units will be 10 plus 1 plus 4, which will give you 15 units, right? And since we know that 1 unit is 25, so 15 unit will be 15 times 25, right? It will be 15 times 25, and that will give you 375. Okay, so we can write our answer quickly, right? So our answer is there are 375 people at the stadium. Okay, so that's our solution. Hope you liked it.